through since y'all have arrived. How do you feel the players have bought into what you've asked them to do?
I feel like they've done a great job. I mean, they've responded well. I mean, all the challenges that we threw at them this offseason, we asked them to do some incredibly hard things, and they always seem to respond and rise to the occasion. So, really excited of the progress we made this offseason.
How much do you think a team builds chemistry in places like the weight room and conditioning, even more so than practice?
I think they build a great deal of chemistry. I mean, you got to think about it. You're put in tough situations. You find out what the guy next to you. You find out what he's all about. You're in here every day, every morning, sweating together, bleeding together. So I think a great deal of chemistry is built in the weight room.
As a former player and you played on this level, I mean, you kind of know how important a strength coach is. I mean, for you, your strength coach, how important was that for you and your development as a player and as a person too?
He was huge. I mean, he was huge. I had the great Ben Pollard and Terry Jones Jr. were my two strength coaches, and I feel like they played a great part in my development and always having me ready to play on Saturdays. So I feel like a strength staff plays a big role in getting guys ready to play in their development. So hopefully we've done that.
In today's landscape with transfers and all and so many new guys each year, that a big change with your dynamics and what you want to do, or is it just a normal year each year?
No, it's a normal year. I mean, whatever guys walk through that door, that's who we're going to train. So it doesn't matter if they're freshman, fifth-year guy transfer. It doesn't matter. Whoever walks through that door, I mean, we're going to train them and try to get them better.
Can you share any kind of specifics on what maybe differentiates your strength program from some that these other guys might have been used to in the past?
I don't know if there's anything really specific. I mean, I always kind of convert back to, kind of the things I felt like helped me be better as a football player, some of the things I did in college. So I don't know if there's really anything that sets us apart. I think regardless of what kind of program you put together, if you don't have the guys bought in and they don't trust you, it's not going to matter. So building relationships, building that trust, letting those guys know that whatever you're doing, you got their best interests at heart. I really feel like it doesn't matter what program you put together, you got to have trust.
What was kind of the main focus for you guys when you're entering the first off-season camp under new head coach and you being a strength coach? I mean, what was kind of the focus that you wanted to work on with the players?
I think just really coming in, just kind of setting the culture and the standard. I mean, I think that's really kind of what you got to do, first thing walking in the door and just kind of getting those guys to kind of understand, the standard we're going to operate at and, letting them know that we're not going to deviate from that. So the standard is the standard. So I think, really year one coming in the door, the main thing we want to focus on is building a good culture.
Your connection to the Levy family goes all the way back to when you were in high school. And so how did much of that factor in when you got the call about maybe coming to Mississippi State?
It was a no-brainer. I mean, I've known Jeff for a long time, and obviously everybody knows the history. Jeff and his family mean a great deal to me. They played a big role in me being where I am today. So whenever Jeff called, it was a no-brainer.
How important is Coach Jaws in this equation of the strength, the speed training, and things like that? It's just making the guys faster. I mean, for you, how important did you feel like he was for the offseason?
It's extremely important. I think Coach Jaws is, arguably one of the best speed coaches in the country. I'd put him up against anybody. So I feel like it was very important to get him here and get these guys faster. But I feel like our whole staff has done a great job. Eric Anthony and David Underwood have done a great job working with our big boys. Christian Buchanan works with our combos. And so I think those guys have done a great job, getting those guys on board and getting the program going.
Now, how big was it, you guys kind of coming together? I mean, so you didn't have to learn each other. You guys kind of had a foundational standard, I guess.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, we all knew each other, and we kind of knew how we all operated, and I think we all kind of walked in the same door with the same vision and same beliefs. So it was easy. I think we hit the ground, day one running, because like I said, we were all of the same makeup. We all had the same beliefs, same backgrounds, and we came in ready to roll.
Every strength coach I've talked to has said they can only be as good as the head coach lets them be. Now, how free a hand has Coach Levy given you and made clear to the team that you are in charge of this?
He's been awesome, man. He's really trusted me. He's not to say completely hands off, but he's trusted me to do what I know to do, and which trickles down to the rest of the staff. I trust the rest of the guys on the strength staff to do what they're going to do. EA and Dave, they program for the big boys. Christian programs for the combos. Jaws and myself program for the skill guys. So there's a great deal of trust there, and I know it's not like that everywhere. But Coach Levy, it feels good knowing that he's got a great deal of trust in the guys down here in the weight room.
How have you seen Blake shape and attack the offseason? How's he changed since you started working with him?
Man, Blake, he's a competitor, man. He's come in and he did everything we asked him to do. He didn't ask for any modifications. So he came in, attacked it. And I think the guys seeing him work allowed him to, kind of take on that leadership role. So Blake came in with a great attitude, worked his butt off, and had a great offseason.
Who are some of the strongest and fastest players you've worked with on the team here?
Strongest, you got T. Will, Ethan Miner, fast. You got Kelly Jones, Mario Craver, Kevin Coleman. You got those guys that can run. So those are just some guys that kind of stand out. There's obviously other guys, if we go back and look at that, like I said, had a great offseason.
You know this league. You know what our athletes are going to be competing against. So how do you get to them and say, there are no days off. You're going against the best of the best at this level.
Man, really, just coming in the door, just kind of really getting those guys to understand that, we're not going to ask you to do anything that we haven't done ourselves. So, again, playing in this league, knowing how competitive it is, how tough it is, I think they kind of, they understand, how we got to train. We got to train at a certain level, and it's got to be like that every day. They can't, like you said, can't take any days off. So I think those guys have done a great job of understanding, what it's going to take to compete in this league, and how we're going to have to train day in and day out.
A lot of the time, players will share things with the strength staff that they won't even share with their position coaches. So how do you sort of have to get to build that circle of trust, especially in such a short time, and for you, it's the entire team, not just one position group?
I think the main thing, day one, I told our staff I want us to be the constant. So just so those guys know every day that they walk in the door, they know what they're getting with us. So just try to be, the same staff every single day. Just be the constant, and just doing that builds a great deal of trust. And those guys know that our door is always open. They can come to us with anything, and they can trust us. And I think it's really helped us develop a good chemistry between players and coach this offseason.
When there are newcomers that arrive in the program, what kind of testing do you do to maybe kind of figure out maybe where they're out of balance, or maybe where they need a specialized workout?
Well, with the skill guys, we do a lot of single leg training. So that's a good indicator of, if you got good balance or not like that. So that's kind of what we do. EA with the big boys, they load it up and they get after it. And combos are kind of somewhere in between. They do a little bit of single leg work. They do some heavy lifting like the big boys. So really coming in year one, we're really just kind of teach them how we want to train. We didn't do a whole lot of one rep max, so to speak. Really, year one was just trying to get in, teaching those guys how we're going to train day in and day out.
What's your game day role going to be?
Well, I told Coach Levy I'm not going to keep his big butt back. So whatever it needs to be, I'm sure I'll need to be a good back coach at some point. But whatever it needs to be, getting those guys warmed up will be, obviously be my main role. But then other than that, I'm sure I'll be tasked with keeping somebody back. So
what's training like during the year once you get focused on, putting in the game plan, all that stuff? How often do you guys lift weights, train, all that stuff?
We'll probably go, once we get into, rolling with a regular season, we'll probably go 2 to 3 times a week. And it's really just hitting the meat and potatoes, really just trying to maintain those qualities that we gained in the off season. It's nothing super crazy. We usually try to get them in, get them out, because really the emphasis is on football. So we want those guys exerting, their time and energy and the focus in the football, and we're just hitting the meat and potatoes once they come in here.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, man, I
Appreciate
appreciate you guys.
Great stuff, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.